Now I'm about to do something that the fitness industry is going to hate. I'm going to tell you the secret to getting six-pack abs. This is a secret that has been kept. It has been kept from you to make it so that you don't know how to do this. To make it so that you'll keep buying these fake programs that are being sold when the actual secret to getting six-pack abs is very, very simple. All right, I'm going to give it to you right now. Now, you might have seen in other places, maybe heard the saying that six-pack is made in the kitchen, right? Now, is that true? Sometimes. You might have heard that you need to work out your abs just like any other muscle group to get them big enough to show up as a six-pack. Is that true? Sometimes. You may have heard that you can work out 6 minutes a day and you can have a perfect body and perfect six-pack abs. Is that the truth? Almost never. I'm going to say pretty much never. Now, what is the secret to six-pack abs? It's genetics. It's hard work. And it is a mixture of a lot of things, depending on your body makeup and your genetics and what work you're putting in. Now, some people can't even get a six-pack. Some people can't do it at all. Your stomach muscles are not the six-pack that you see. You might see people with an 8-pack or a 12-pack. It's basically all one muscle. And those definition lines are created by bands that go across, and how many you have depends on your genetics. You may not be able to get a six-pack. You may only be able to get a 4-pack. You may only be able to get a 2-pack. If you get an 8-pack or a 12-pack, well, you're a genetic outlier. Most people can't do that. You cannot get something that is not there. So however many of these bands you have will dictate how much you can get in the end. There are 100-pound, 15-year-old kids out there with six-packs. They carry so little body weight genetically that you can see their muscles. You can see their six-pack. They don't do anything at all. So when they say that a six-pack is made in the kitchen, what they mean is that you need to get your body fat down to such a small, infinitesimal amount that the muscles just show up. That's the same with any muscle group in your body. If you want striations, those lines in your muscles, you need to lose body fat. And that is the only way to get those. That is not something that is specific to six-packs. That is specific to every muscle in your body. If you want to be a professional bodybuilder, you need to get down to unbelievably small amounts. We're talking like 4 or 5% of body fat in order to show off all that muscle definition. So six-pack is exactly the same. Not everybody can get down to those body fat levels. When you're talking about getting down to 4 or 5, like to get a truly amazing looking six-pack, you're like maybe 8, 9, 10%, somewhere in there, depending on your genetics and how your fat disposes of itself across your body, is going to depend on how low of body fat you need to see the definition in your abs. Now, for most people, getting down to those levels is extremely difficult. When you see a lot of these people in movies with six-packs, or the superhero movies, the Marvel movies, whatever, what have you. A great one is Zac Efron in Baywatch, in the Baywatch movie. He took diuretics, which basically caused him to excrete all the water in his system. That's how he got so ripped. He felt horrible. He says he would never do it again. And most people, when they get down to those levels, when they work to those levels, you never see these people when they're not doing a movie showing off their six-pack. Jason Momoa, for example, he's very well known for when he doesn't have to do a movie that requires him to be big and muscular. He's not. He packs on fat. It doesn't feel good to most people to get down to those levels of body fat. Some people, like I said, genetic outliers, that 15-year-old kid that's 100 pounds that has a six-pack, some people can genetically take it. Most people can't. Most people can't take getting down to those levels of body fat. So getting a six pack, if you need to build them in the kitchen and get down to a level of body fat that your body is not comfortable being at, you will feel sick, you'll feel weak, you won't have a lot of energy, and it'll be actually very detrimental for you. So can you make your six pack in the kitchen? Yes. Should you work out that as your main way of doing it? Not necessarily. It depends on your genetics. It depends on how your muscle is, or your muscle and your fat are dispersed across your body. There's so many outliers to that there's so many things to think about when it comes to that basically if you're getting down to let's say 12-15% and you're not seeing a six pack yet, it's probably not for you, and you're feeling sick. If you're feeling bad, weak, sick at any time, then you're getting to levels of body fat that your body is uncomfortable with, and you're actually hurting yourself. Now, on the other side of that spectrum, well, let's go into the middle first. Let's go into the totally fake stuff. Your 6-minute perfect body, 6-minute abs workout. They're selling you a product that doesn't work, and you're never going to get abs that way. Just throw that stuff away. Don't go looking for easy outs when it comes to your health, your fitness, or building muscle. There is no easy outs. Even going on a ton of steroids is immensely difficult because of all the things that you have to go through being on them. Mental health issues, feeling sick in other ways. Steroids take years off your lives when you're doing cycles. So even doing that is that's not the easy way out, and you still have to put in all the same work. So there is no easy out when it comes to these kinds of things. You need to, when you're building any muscle group, what you generally are looking for is you want to get your body fat percentage down to an acceptable level for you. Unless you're competing, in which case you need to go way below that, and you're going to feel sick and horrible for all the time that you do that, and you're probably taking years off your life doing that as well. People do that when they compete. That is something that they have to do to compete. That is, if you're a professional bodybuilder, you need to do that. If you look at if you do a Google search on professional bodybuilders off season, in fact, I'll throw a picture up right now of Chris Bumstead. He's the reigning Olympia men's physique champion, probably one of the most popular and well-known bodybuilders in the world that's competing at this moment. You can see what it looks like when he's competing, the unbelievably low levels of body fat that he has, and what he looks like in his off season when he actually puts some fat on and bulks up a little bit. It's a pretty big difference what he can carry in his competitive cycle and what he needs to do when he's basically not competing in order to keep himself healthy. So you'll see what the difference is between that. Now, the next way that you can get a six pack is to build the stomach muscles. Now, that means working them like they are like any other muscle group, working them as often as you can. Myself, I do 3 sets twice a week just on abs. And I've got what I consider to be pretty good abs, but it takes a lot of work to get there. So what you're looking at if you want to get consistently good abs, good six pack, is you need to do basically everything. You need to keep your body fat percentage down as low as you can comfortably. You need to build them. You need to work them out so that they can show through what body fat you do have the best way possible. And you need to be consistent with them. So diet, exercise, building the abs, just like any other muscle group. That's how you make any muscle group pop. That's how you make it so you can see any muscle group, low body fat and as much muscle as possible. Now, building your abs does mean, though, that you're going to be thicker. They're a muscle. They get bigger when you build them. So when you build them up, they're going to be thicker. So I don't know if you can see here, like I'm not bad, but like I look pretty thick, right? The the next component when it comes to building abs is skin tone and lighting. When you see influencers showing off their abs on Facebook or YouTube or Instagram, what you're really seeing is a lot of times professional photographers using lighting to create shadows to make them pop more. And that's really how your favorite influencers get their abs. It's hard work, diet, and lighting. Professional photographers, and in a lot of cases, performance enhancing drugs. PEDs, steroids, they do jack up your metabolism, make you cut fat better, build the muscle better. There are lots of negative effects to them as well. Like they're not by any means something that everybody should just hop on in order to get a six pack. I mean, that's kind of crazy. So, but it does allow them. It allows them to do things that a lot of people can't do naturally. So getting six pack normally, naturally is a lot of times quite difficult. For some people, very easy, depending on how much body fat they can carry. And if you want to get a six pack without perfect genetics, where you can carry that low body fat, you got to build them. You just have to build them. Now, you can see here, I'll show you quick. So, like I said, you know, this is me. Like I'm not, like there's some substance here, right? Because I've built more for strength than for aesthetics. I'm also looking to look good, but I also want to be strong. Now you can see the outline of my stomach muscles. In this lighting, you're not going to see the six pack because the light's shining right on me and there's just no shadows there. That's what I'm talking about when it comes to the lighting, right? But you can see the outline of my stomach muscles for sure. I sit anywhere from 12% to 15% body fat, which is pretty much the healthiest amount of body fat you can sit at for most people. So I'm doing about as well as can be expected. In order to get more definition than that, I'd have to lose more body fat because I build my muscles, like I hit them hard. So really that's where we're sitting. You may not be able to get the six pack you want. You may not be able to get the six pack that you see on Instagram or online, on social media, on TV, in those movies. That may not be attainable. It's not for everybody. So what we need to do is not think about looking like those ideals that have been set up, because those ideals aren't real. In a lot of cases, they're unattainable and super difficult to keep once you do get them. Usually requiring performance-enhancing drugs and an amount of time in the gym that most people cannot commit to. So what you should really be working towards is not something that you've seen on television, not some ideal that's been set up for you. Because a lot of times that ideal is fake. And a lot of times the people that you see with that six pack or that perfect body, they're not keeping that up for more than 1 or 2 months a year. They're only keeping it up for as long as they need to keep the role, to do the competition. And what you should be working towards is basic overall strength. I mean, I spend myself, for where you see me at, I spend 13 to 17 hours a week in the gym. That is a lot of time. That's a lot of time for the average person. It is attainable. It is possible to do that. And I recommend spending as much time in the gym as you can to build as well as you can. I mean, you want to be strong, you want to be healthy, you want to have endurance. And that's why I've been able to get to where I'm at. I'm starting to get to a point where I'm starting to feel like I'm getting big. And it's taken a lot of work to get there. And it's something that I can never stop doing. But it is something that's attainable. And it's something that you can attain as well. You may not get that six pack. You may not get completely down in body fat like you think the ideal is, because that ideal is not healthy and it won't be any good for you. But one thing I will guarantee you is if you put in the work, I'm a strong believer in training abs. It's your core, that's strength. Just as I'm a strong believer in training every muscle group for overall strength. So if you put in the work and you put in the time, you may not get to the ideal that you're thinking of in your head, because that ideal might not be attainable. For you, for me, for a lot of these people, I mean, without their genetics, their personal trainers, and unfortunately the amount of steroids that they're on, without those things, those body types aren't attainable. But one thing that is attainable is to be better and stronger than you are today. And that is one thing each and every one of us can get. Each and every one of us can work towards, and we can have that. You get one life. You get one time on this planet. Why not be the best and the strongest person that you can be? Even if it's not that ideal that you're thinking of in your head, it's still going to be better than you are. And it's still going to be, probably, when other people look at you, they're probably going to think, that guy looks great. Even if you don't see it. Other people do. They see the work you put in. They see your results. And you'll see it too. You will. You'll definitely feel better. You'll definitely be able to do more. And what's the alternative? Sitting on the couch for the rest of your life eating snacks? I mean, that's basically the choice you got to make, right? So, yeah. You may not get that six-pack you want. I mean, even look at The Rock. The Rock trains an unbelievable amount. He spends a ton of money, probably on a bunch of stuff, but I can't say for sure. But I mean, you make up your own decisions on that. Is that body type attainable without a little bit of injectable help? Probably not. But you look at somebody like him, The Rock, his stomach muscles are just kind of bumpy, no definition. He doesn't have a six-pack. So if that's unattainable for him, I mean, that guy's putting in the work and doing what it's required, and his body fat's extremely low, and he still can't really see his stomach muscles very well. So if that's not attainable for him, you know, I mean, that's basically, there's going to be people that isn't attainable for. You might be one of them. You might not be. You might get a great six-pack. It's all down to genetics and luck. But one thing I will guarantee is you'll be stronger. Get out there, get yourself into shape, you'll be stronger, you'll look better, you'll feel better. People will notice it, you'll notice it, and your life will be better. You'll learn a lot of things along the way. You'll learn how to have discipline, how to work hard for something that you used to think was unattainable, and delayed gratification. And you learn to structure your life in such a way to build something long term. And those lessons are huge. So you may not get that six-pack you want, but get out there and get what you can get. Because you got one life, you build yourself up the best you possibly can. All right? So that's a secret to six-packs. There's no secret. You just get out there, work, do what you can. Eat well, try to get your body fat low. You might get one, you might not. If you don't, well, that's just your lot. That's just how it is. But you'll be stronger. Trust me, you'll feel better. So let's get out there. Let's build each other up, help each other out. Let's help our fellow man. It's not about walking over people or climbing over them. It's about helping each other up and building a better society. If you'd like to help us out on Patreon, feel free to go over there. You can become a patron and help us out financially. If not, that's cool too. Just subscribe, like, throw a comment or two on this video, help out with the algorithm. Everything helps. So just do what you can for us, and I'm out here doing what I can for you. All right. I love you guys. Let's get out there, build each other up. All right.